Hello everyone. I've started this series to explain the complete solid principles and with their examples. Okay. I will be starting over with solid. What is solid principle? And the later part I'll also cover up each like the acronym of it, like S O L N I N D. Okay. Let's just first try and understand what is solid principle. Okay. I've also written the definition over here. Okay, I'll just read it out and then also I'll explain you in the brief or just a bit what it is actually. Okay, so as a definition is the principle established practices for developing software with consideration for maintaining and extending it as the project grows. Adopting these practices can also help avoid code smells, refactor code, and develop agile for adaptive software. So, if I just give you just about it, the solid principles are basically which helps in developing softwares by also keeping in mind that in the future we will be growing our software. Okay, like we will be the more features will come into, or how it will be well maintaining it when the new feature comes up. So, the solid principle will help us in the future also. Okay, and it also avoids this code smells, refactor core, and also helps in making it much more agile. Okay, so these are the basic things like why we should go for solid principles. Okay, now then in solid principles everyone has their own full form or own explanations. Okay, so like S is for single responsibility principle, O is for open for extension, close for modification principle, L is for Liskov substitution principle, I stands for interface segregation principle, and D stands for dependency inversion principle. Okay, so in this current video, I'll talk about the S, that is a single responsibility principle, and regarding the rest four, that is O, L, I, and D, I'll cover up in the next series. Okay, so let's wait for that. So now I'll just start for the S. Okay, so firstly, again, we will go up with the normal definition and then we will come up with examples also so that we understand it much more better. Like we should be ready when the interviewer comes up and ask about the examples, and also we should be knowing it. Okay. So S stands for single responsibility principle. Okay. So definition is as I've written, the class should have one and only one reason to change, meaning that a class should have only one job. Okay. In just straightforward is like my class should change only for a one reason. Okay. If there are many different reasons are coming up, I should have a different classes for that. As simple as that. Okay. So even I've created some examples for it so that we understand it much more better. Okay. Now let's just go to code and I'll just try to explain out. Okay. So I've created two different packages for good examples and a bad example. Okay. So in this good example right now you can see I've created one user model. So in this user model I've created functions which are only related to the user. Okay, so you can see this create user, update user, delete user, they all are having a reason to change, and that reason is a user. Okay, now this is what the good example means. So all these functions are changing only one reason. Okay, so it follows the single responsibility principle. Now if I just go to one of the bad examples. Okay, so in one of my bad examples, you can see I've added two more functions, which are send email and generate report. Now, these two functions are not related to my user, okay? Because if in the future, if I have to maybe do some change in my logic of generate report, that is not related to the user basically, okay? Because it will have another reason to change. It's not having a reason for user to change, okay? So that's the reason we should have a different classes where if the future in the future we get requirements where we have to develop some functions, and also we should have separate classes for that. Okay, so I've created one report user service over here, you can see. So in this I've written this generate a report. So basically as simple as that, the starting which I said. So the reason to change should be one. Okay, now this report user service have only one reason, again generate report. Other than that I should not put anything in this. Okay, so the functions which will be written in this will have only one reason to change, that is regarding the report generation of the user. Okay, uh, I hope you guys would have understood. If you still have some questions, definitely put it in the comments. I'll go through it. I'll reply it over that. And the later part of it, like the OLID, the rest part of the principle that are left, I'll cover up in my next video. Okay, so thank you guys. Bye bye.